Welcome back to another Chatting with Wisdom. I am Geegado Megwan, spirit name, which means talking feather woman. I'm also known as Rollie Allaire. I empower women to stand on their truth so that they feel fulfilled and can achieve all their desires. This unscripted weekly interview series is to help successful women who feel misunderstood and disempowered in personal relationships stand in their truth so that they can communicate with confidence. So join me in a Stand in Your Truth call where you'll explore what's blocking you from communicating with confidence in your personal relationship. This week, I'd like to introduce Brenda Soucy. And today we're going to chat about 3 keys to mastering your results. So Brenda Soucy is a speaker, certified transformational mindset coach, and life mastery consultant. Brenda guides personal and professional clients to design and manifest a life that is in harmony with their soul's purpose by gaining clarity on their dreams and goals on how to turn them into their reality. Brenda has applied her many years of education and experience in international business by speaking in front of government and military ministry of multiple nations, high-level management in the corporate world, as well as the Week of Kindness and Gratitude Summit, and at I don't think that I can pronounce that. Kushala. Yeah.
It's an event in the UK, yeah.
UK's Men Are From Mars event, believing that we are all capable of far greater than we realize. Brenda has proven repeatedly system of success. Has a proven repeatable system of success that has helped tens of thousands of people around the world achieve their potential. She's on a mission to spread this knowledge with inspiring workshops as well as a transformational in-depth coaching programs that helps clients achieve new heights of success, meaning, and spiritual aliveness. I love that. How are you doing today?
I'm good. And thank you for having me here with you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited that you were able to reschedule for today. In my time of illness,
Yes.
the month of March just kind of took me by storm. And so I am thankful that you were able to reschedule for this afternoon.
Thank
So
you.
tell me a little bit more about how did you end up in this field? Like, how did you switch over, or how did you become into this realm?
Yes. So basically I have like over 20 years of international business, which is importing, exporting, and the international laws of and regulations. I'm passionate about that industry, but when I've obtained the highest education and I realized that that's the salary, and like I was like, I'm in my, you know what, when you're young, you envision yourself that you're going to be doing this until you retire, right? But then when I found myself in my mid 40s, I realized that I was no longer learning. I was no longer creating, growing. And so I didn't feel as much as like wanting to go to work anymore. Like I didn't feel challenged. Became a little bit frustrated on top of that and only saw negativity. And there's something that was in me. I was like, okay, what's going on? And there's got to be something more to life than this, because I can't do this for another 20, 25 years, right? And what really triggered me is I'm a single mom to a competitive swimmer, and she was about 11 or 12. And because I'm working in the supervisor management level, it rains, it's pouring rain outside. I come into my office and I realize that this is the time that my daughter, it's like November, December, it's pouring rain. She has to walk like a 30-minute walk from school to the YMCA, which is the swimming practice. And I realized that she's probably halfway there, and I can't, by the time I get there, she's already arrived. Right. So I couldn't leave to pick her up. And so that's the day that I really turned around. And when I was able to reach out to her, she stopped at the Circle K, which is kind of like a 7-Eleven kind of store, corner store, to get warmed up because she was so cold halfway. And she told me, she says, "Mom, don't worry. This time, the pool will be warmer than what the rain was," because she was always frozen in the water in the pool. And so it broke my heart. I was like, okay, I would come home negative, and I needed to change my mindset. So that's when I turn into personal development. I need to understand what really triggers me now. And I always thought that, well, I've worked all this time and this is my identity, but there's got to be more to life than this. So basically, I found that I can create international business consultant and a transformational mindset coach. It does not need to be either or. So during the pandemic, because my passion is traveling, I found the clarity on that. My passion is traveling, and I couldn't travel. And for me, traveling is where you grow, what you're looking forward to. What you can't read, you can't grow in within in from only a book. It's when you go out there and you travel and you discover new things, new perspective, new everything's. So during the pandemic, I invest in myself, not into traveling because I couldn't, but I invested in my mindset. And I invested in Tony Robbins Mastery University. I did these programs that I have now and become a life coach through the Brave Thinking Institute. And it's basically understanding your mindset, changing your perspective, and gain clarity and confidence to really do believe and trust that you have everything within us to create the life that we want to live. And today I'm the product of the product. So, and I'm here to inspire other women that they can be, and it doesn't need to always be either or.
I love that. And I love how you've pointed out that it doesn't have to be either or, right? So you can be, because that's one of the things that we hear often is like, yeah, we have to choose. Well, why do I have to choose?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why can I not choose both? Why can I not choose what it is that makes me happy and passionate from both angles?
Yeah.
And being able to, and for anybody who is not familiar with the cold in November, the cold rain in November is you are, Brenda, you're from North Bay, which is like Northern Ontario. We're a little bit further than that in terms of the distance, and
Yeah.
so we're about 2 hours north of you. And so, like in the middle of November, it's not like a nice, warm, cozy rain. It's like probably close to ice pellets kind of type rain, and so it's cold, and it's a long trek to walk several blocks
12 years
through
old.
through that horrible rain. And so that was one of the things that I talked about on gratitude today, is that the prompt was about nature. And for those of us who live in the north, like we're getting dumped with extra snow. Like we had a nice mild winter. We'd have like few things of snow, but we're all getting dumped with like all this massive snow at this time of the year in the spring, when we're
Yeah.
supposed to be getting the warm rains and like all the April showers that are supposed to bring May flowers,
Yeah.
right? So
And
so that,
and today's a snow day.
yeah. Yeah.
Snow day means that the kids don't go to school because the bus are canceled. So we're April 5th and we have a snow day.
It's insane, complete insanity.
Mm.
And so I did a before and after picture of March 3rd, because I knew the storm was coming on April 1st, which is my birthday, on the day of the gratitude challenge that I started. And so March 31st, and I did a comparison of like, this is what it looks like at the same time on April 1st. And so it was like, here, Mother Nature has like this April Fool's joke that she's just carrying on and continuing. And it's like, okay, enough. Like April Fool's Day was finished on Saturday. Can we like move on now?
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
but like in terms of like our kids and our passions and the things, like our kids don't stay kids forever. And being able to have that opportunity to be able to do both ends.
Yeah.
Right. So like it allows us to be able to have that. And so I think that that's really, really important for us to be able to tap into that. So tell me a little bit more about these mastery keys that you have. So you have
Yes.
three
So
keys
three
that you have
keys.
that you wanted to share.
So 3 keys. The first one is I'm asking all of you to really look inside yourself, and I'm asking you the question, what would I love for my life? And if you're not clear on that, you can look at your longing and your discontent. Your longing is for something you haven't yet created, and the discontent that you're currently living. And between those two, you will find your clarity on what is it that you would love for your own life. There's not for your kids, not for your spouse or your partner, but for you. And for me, as I said earlier, what was clearer to me, what I love is that I can put my daughter's agenda of her swimming in my agenda first. And then everything falls around that, because I wasn't able to be there for. So that's what happens today. So gain clarity on how your day would be like. And the other one is, once you're clear on that, make a decision, committed decision. For me, there's, because of the coal, I'm going to use, like, it's like when you can go and you can say, well, I would love this for my life. But if we take, I'll take two examples. If we go to a stove that provides heat and say, I want heat, but don't put the wood in the stove, you're not going to get heat. So by putting the wood in the stove, you're committing to getting heat. So the same thing is when you go cash a check at the bank. You must sign your name on that check with this definite number and a specific date to actually cash that check. So when you do those things, you're sending the universe that you're committed to having that in your life. You're ready to having that for your life. So that would be the second key, is to, once you gain clarity is your first key. The second key is you commit, you decide, and you start taking the steps. But what happens when we start making those steps is that fear comes up in our minds. Okay. I'm a single mom with this daughter, and I'm like, I had all these things going on in my life. So I was like, well, you've never done that before. Like, who's going to pay your bills if the money doesn't come in? And we get that voice that talks to us, which is fear. And in other words, is the reticular activating system. It's just focusing on those things, right? So the third key is to basically befriend your fear. We're human beings living this spiritual life. We're always going to have fear, but as long as we don't let fear have us. And so when we go on in life, we have to recognize the fear. It's okay. I know that you're here to protect me, but I'm resourceful, I'm capable, and these are the steps that I can take to actually go on with what I want to create in my life. So basically, I'm a mother of one, but since September, because I was able to create what I'm living today. Like I say, I'm the product of what I'm teaching today. So I have 3 girls here since September, my daughter, and I have 2 international exchange student in 11th grade. So I have 3 teenagers of 16 and 15-year-olds in my life. So I'm able to drive them and be here to support them. And I was telling them, if I would have my full-time job, I would not have been able to have these beautiful souls in my life. One is from Tokyo, Japan. The other one is from Spain. And they're here on the 11th grade until June. So September till June. So the reason why I'm saying this is that my daughter's been hearing me talking like this for once she's a younger age, but these 2 girls, I took them to Toronto one day. We're driving north, and it's in the dark, and it's highway north, so there's no light on the highway, just my 2 headlights. And I said to the girls, I said, you know what? I said, see how far my car lights go forward. And they said, okay, yeah. I said, so I don't know if there's a turn. I don't know if I'm going up. I don't know if I'm going to go down, or if there's someone in the road. It's dark. But I do trust that when I get there, I trust myself enough that I am all capable to deal with whatever comes in my way as it reveals slowly itself in front of me with those lights. And I said, that's the same thing with life. I said, if a person is fearful of what's on the other side of that darkness, I can park the car right now and stay here and not move and decide this is it. I said, but if you know, you get clarity and you trust yourself and you become resourceful, you can advance into that darkness, and whatever shows up, know that you can deal with it. And if you're not dealing correctly, then you're learning from it. But you're advancing your fear and you're growing and you're showing yourself what you're capable of. So does that make sense? And the girls were like, yeah, it makes sense. So it's basically befriending your fear, like knowing in yourself, you've gained clarity in your first key, you've made a commitment that that's what you want. And then you befriend your fear into the ways of taking the steps and making sure that fear is turned into courage. But when you have doubts and fear, just recognize and say, hey, thank you for keeping me safe, but I got this, right? So that's the three keys that I it's a daily practice. You never arrive. You're always striving to take that next step of whatever that step is for you. So I hope this is empowering and inspiring for others to understand. Like if you practice those, but the first key is really gaining clarity on what it is that you would love. Yeah.
Well, and I really like that visual that you had of like, and again, being a northern girl, I understand that whole like driving through that full darkness. Like there's like if there's no moon, there's like nothing. Like
Yeah.
there's like zero clarity as to what it is that's going on, other than your high beams that and if it's a little bit cloudy or if it's a little bit foggy, then like those you can't even use the high beams.
No.
Right. So like it's just being able to, and you
The
don't
light
know whether or not.
the light is closer to you then.
Yep.
It's even
Right?
worse.
So it makes it even worse in
Yeah.
terms of that. And so I really like that visual of being able to visualize being on that road of like discovery and knowing where it is that we're going and what is it that we're doing. And we know that the end result is that we're going to get to the other side. But we can, if we don't have that confidence, we are going to pull over that car and we are going to just sit and wait until daylight comes. And then when daylight comes, like we've lost all that other
Yeah.
all that other parts of whatever it is that's going on. And whatever that opportunity was that you had may not be there
Yeah.
to learn, or may not be there to be able to take that next step. And so I love that visual of being able to see where is it that we're going and what is it that we're doing. And the other thing that you'd said that was really that I think is really powerful is that taking action, right? So like
Everything.
you have to, like, what is it that you desire? What is it that you want to be able to go to? And then make that decision and go for it, and know that we may have to change paths. We may need to adjust. We may need to come up and use up our resourceful, like taking things out of our toolbox to be able to bring things on, being able to connect. But one of the things that I really love about being able to be on this life's journey is that we don't have to go it alone.
No.
So we have people like you, and we have people who allow us, like in terms of support and networking, and we have other people who have paved the way to be able to help us gain some clarity. We have some people who have been there that have actually tried trusted and true the things that, yeah, this is probably not going to work, or here's some extra tools in the toolbox that can actually help. And so whether it's jumping into your life of jumping into a business, or just simply jumping into your life of being able to move forward. Like one of the things that you talked about was travel. And so if that is like your passion and wanting to be able to go and travel the world, well, if you don't ever take any steps to like put things into place, you're never going to get to the destinations that you want to be able to get to.
Yeah.
And I think that that's also really important for us to be able to remember as well, is that it may take us a little longer to get to the destination, but if we don't ever start taking action, then we're not getting there anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big that your dreams are, or how much that you manifest, or how much that you wish upon a star. It's not going to make any difference, right?
So that step. And if it's not the right step, it's going to tell you to go and steer back. It's just like a router on your boat or on an airplane. And so, yeah, it will lead you to the right destination. And speaking of travel, I'm going to Morocco, solo traveling in Morocco in November. And as I said, I love traveling, and I've also gone to Jordan solo traveling. I trekked in Nepal alone. I met up with a group there, but then what happened there in Nepal, people, that was my first time. It's like, okay, I'm going to Nepal. I'm going to the mountains and the Annapurna Mountains for 10 days. And I'm sleeping in Tibetan tea houses. There's no hot water. So a lot of people were like, well, what about if you're getting altitude sickness, like, and all this stuff. So I was clear that I wanted to do this.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it. That was but when I started sharing it with other people, I started hearing other people's fears, other people's personal doubts, and I adopted that on my own, on me. So there's two ways. There's your own mindset that you're constantly telling yourself, no, I can do this. No, I can do this. But it's also when, after you share with other people, you have to be the guard of your own mind, of what you really, is that their fear or is it really my fear? So when I realized that, I became resourceful. I started training my legs, started training my lungs, and anyways, I had no problem. It was all good. But I had to stop myself and say, hey, those are their fears. I have fears now, now that they put these thoughts in my head, but now I'm gonna, how can I do this? And we had a Sherpa, and I needed to pack 20-pound backpack of my 17 days in Nepal. And so I needed to bring my own toilet paper and my soap. So what I found out, that's one of the resourcefulness. When I realized that when I shave like a potato peeler, I shave my soap and put in a snack Ziploc bag, it's weightless. And when you take one of those slivers and you wash your hands with it, you can leave that wet sliver, not putting back that wet soap in your backpack. So I became resourceful, let's just say, with the help of a partner in believing, a very good friend. I was like, you can do this, and supportive. And so surround yourself with positive and supportive people. Whatever you share, what is your dream or your vision or your goal, like, share with people that you know that you will be supporting you and loving you through it.
And one of the things that we're going to have people who are naysayers that are going to say, like, yeah, but. And so those yeah, buts are good. And so long as we're not getting lost in those yeah, buts. So it's like, yeah, but what happens if? Okay, so then I'm going to train my legs. What happens if? Okay, well, I'm going to shave my soap. What happens if? Right? So then all these doubts and all these different things is, okay, well, what's the solution to that particular issue?
Yeah.
What can you be doing? Because there is a solution for every issue.
Yeah, there is. And that's when, like, you need to become resourceful and it's like, okay, no, there's other people's done it. I can do this. And what's the solution for that? So that's when you become resourceful and finding your own answers for whatever that works for you. As long as you don't let fear stop you. Because I could have stayed comfortably on my couch and watch a Nepal movie on the TV, or I can go out and do it myself. And I chose to get outside of my comfort zone. And that's mostly what fear keeps you in. It's to stay yourself in your comfort zone. Stay here, and we'll make sure that you don't get altitude sickness or loss. I got lost, actually, but that's a total different story. Into the mountains, I got lost, but I found myself. It's when you lose yourself, that's when you're the best time to find yourself.
And that is so important, right? So like when we get lost on a path, like I have zero sense of direction. So I'm going to find ways of being able to like navigate through that. And so, and as I'm speaking that out loud, it's like, okay, yeah, I get lost geographically in whatever it is, but I don't get lost in where I need to go or what it is that I need to do, because I'm actually going to find whatever things to be resourceful. Like, I don't know how many times that I've changed a career and because, like, yes, everything was good. And until that shifts and that changes. And so even today we're doing gratitude, and gratitude from 2019 was I actually got the reminder or the memory of my gratitude prompt and what was going on at that time. And it was all about, and I was talking about like all these changes on my website and all these other things and a new system and all these things. And here I am this many years later, and I'm on a new system and I'm making some changes and I'm getting these things and I'm navigating through whatever it is. And back then it was like, that was so daunting to be working on my website. That was so daunting to be starting a new system and not knowing where it is that I'm going to go or what it is that I'm going to be doing. And here I am this many years later,
Exactly,
going
right?
through and having that. And so it's about that navigation. It's about that connection and that commitment. And I always love synchronicity. So I love the fact that I went back and it came up on my feed and I went back and listened to it today. And because I don't always go back and listen to it, it's like, oh yeah, come up on my feed. Okay. And I kind of moved on. But today, for whatever reason, I was curious. I was curious as to like what happened day 5 in 2019. And that's what it was. It was about that whole having to shift and having to change. And I'm like, oh, okay, here I am all over
Yeah.
again. Like, even though today's prompt isn't the same as it was back then, because the prompts change each year that I do the challenge, but it was like,
And I'm
here it
sure
is again,
and I'm
right?
sure that you're looking backwards and you say, "Hey, I did this." I'm like and you realize how much capable that you
Yep,
are creating more and more and more every single time you try take a step, an action step.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to have moments when we're like, oh, really? Do we have to do this again? Because I was like, oh, really? Do I have to start a new system again? But like, anybody who is listening that is actually doing online work and wants to know like what works and doesn't work, please message me. Like, I've signed up for every single platform you could possibly imagine. I can probably tell you all. And but like but that's the thing, is that now I'm a resource for other people who can reach out to me and say, hey, have you tried this one? Yeah, this is the reason why I didn't do this one, or I really like this aspect of it, but it was missing this component, or
Okay.
whatever, right? So
Yeah.
like, it gives that feedback. So now I get to be a resource for somebody new who is starting again. Because if
Hmm.
I go back and look at that many years ago, and I was like, oh my God, I don't even know how I'm going to do this too. Like, I do my own website pages most of the time. Like, I still have other people that come in and do like the pretty design stuff, because like that's not my area, but I can actually copy their um
Page.
their format, and
Okay.
I
Okay.
can, right? So it's like, okay, I can actually add things to their format that
Awesome.
so my VA comes in and she does all the pretty stuff, and then I can then take it and do something else with it. And
Awesome.
so it allows us to be able to have these resources and have these different ways of doing things. And
Yeah.
so, but like, that's the part that's really important, is being able to take action. And just before we came on, is that I had a session with a client who we were doing the same thing in terms of like, okay, well, what's my next step and what do I need to be doing? And it's like, and it really is about looking at our resources and taking what we need and leave the rest.
Yeah.
Right. So like that little chatter that we have going on, take what you need out of that chatter and then leave the rest, and work through those steps and those connections of what it is that's happening. Right.
And the
So
other thing is as well, if that thought feels expanding and exciting inside of you, that's the next step. Basically, that's really the next step. Yeah.
and it really is.
Yeah.
And so now you have something that you wanted to share with people. So you have an
Yes.
opportunity for people to
Yes.
connect.
If you want to connect with me, my website is soullifeadventure.com. Soul Life Adventure. There's only one soul, one life, and one adventure. So there's no S to adventures. So soullifeadventure.com. And there's a strategy session on there or there's also a direct link as well to my calendar to connect with me one-on-one and see where you're at and see where you'd love to create for your life.
I love that.
And I just wanted to add a last thing is that yes, I love traveling, but I'm working on a project right now. It's my baby project. I'm combining the workshops and traveling. So my upcoming travel is for those people who their spouse doesn't want to travel, but they do, but they want to travel but don't want to do it alone, and no friends want to go with them. I'm bringing a group of 8 to 10 people, Tuscany, Italy. We're living in a villa. In the morning, we do the workshop. in the afternoon, pre-afternoon, we do sightseeing. We go to vineyards, we go to olive tree and sightseeing. And at 3 o'clock in the afternoon for 5 nights, we have a chef that comes and teaches us the Italian cuisine, and we eat what we make.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm putting that together for a group of women that I can show them and empower them and inspire them to grow in not only like mindset wise, but also like um, uh, know that they can do that themselves as well, as I've done many a time solo and with other friends.
Well, and I love that because like we do have like there are a lot of people that are like, yeah, I don't want to do that, or they're surrounded by people of like, yeah, not me. So I love that. I love
Yeah.
that information for sure. So you'll have to come back on when you've got things all lined up and figured out, and
Yeah,
you'll have to come back on for us to be able to do another chatting with wisdom and share like what's happening or how to be able to sign up for
that
it.
would be great. Thanks.
Yeah, so I think that that would be great for us to be able to get out there and let people know. And I love that idea of like having somebody coming in and teaching us the cuisine, and then we
Yeah.
get to eat. Like we
Yes.
get to eat whatever it is that we have. It's not just having somebody come in and cook and tell us what to do. They're actually going to be making, and again, another one of those empowerment tools. So I love that. So thanks so much for anybody who is catching this on the podcast. So like Brenda said, you can actually go to her website. So wherever it is that you are catching this from, all of Brenda's contact information is there. And so, but if you're like me and like easy links to be able to find things, then if you go to calendly.com/soul life adventure, and like she said, no S's, /strategy hyphen session. So like Calendly Soul Life Adventure strategy session is where you're going to find it. So for those of you who are catching this on an audio link or in another forum that doesn't allow us to provide the actual links, then this is definitely where you want to be able to come and find her. And like I said, though, her link for her website is definitely somewhere around the video or audio that you're listening to. So definitely jump in there and do that. So thank you so much, Brenda, for
Thank you
joining.
for having me. It was
And
fun.
and I'm looking forward to another chatting with wisdom, which we're doing again this evening for our regular session. Brenda was kind enough to be able to reschedule so that we can try and get caught up on some of the ones that we missed in March. So thank you so much, Brenda, for accommodating, and look forward to connecting with you. And I would really love to be able to do another one when you're ready to share your adventure.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so bye everybody. Have a fabulous day, and we will talk to you guys soon. Bye for now.